So this video is for lash lift and tint. So what we're going to talk about first is arriving to work. And the first thing that you always do when you arrive to work is you wash your hands. So you're going to wet your hands at the sink, you're going to find the liquid hand soap, and you're going to wash your hands down to the wrists. You're going to wash the back of your hands down to your wrist. You are going to wash your fingers. You're going to wash the backs of your fingers. You're going to wash between your fingers and your thumbs. You're going to wash your fingertips and nails. You're going to wash your thumbs, and you're going to wash your wrists. You're going to do all of that interlocking motion for a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds. When you feel that you've gotten super clean, you can rinse your hands at the sink underneath the water, and then you will either grab disposable paper towels or a clean towel, turn the faucet off, completely dry your hands off, toss the paper towels in the trash, or you're going to put your now dirty laundry in a closed container until it's time to laundry, and you will find your 97% ethyl alcohol hand sanitizer, and then you'll proceed to sanitize your hands thoroughly. And once they are good and sanitized, you're going to want to get your room ready. Your first client is for a brow and lash tint. So let's talk about what we do in order to prepare your room. So you're going to disinfect your workstation, your bed, and your equipment using a disinfectant wipe following manufacturer's instructions. You'll check equipment to ensure that all devices are in safe working order and plugged into a working receptacle. You'll gather clean supplies needed for the lash and brow tint service, storing in a clean closed container. You'll dispense products needed for the service according to the client's desired shade for brows and lashes. You'll mix according to manufacturer's directions. You'll prepare disposable portion cups for each product with a portion of the product by opening the top of the container and ensuring the tip of the nozzle does not come into contact with the disposable portion cup tray, or you can remove product with a disinfected or clean single-use spatula. Close the lid to the product and set the portion cup tray on the tray. You're going to drape your facial bed with one fitted sheet, one flat sheet. You will place a towel horizontally at the head of the bed. You're going to lay a hairnet and a headband on top of the first towel, along with a roll towel to support the head and neck of the client, and you'll save the third towel to lay across the client's décolleté. You also have the option to use disposable table paper if that's better for you. And so the next thing that you're going to want to do is meet and greet your client and get your client ready for the service. But we're going to just review what I have on my tray for the service here that's ready to go, so you'll be able to see that. Of course, we have disposable gloves because you're going to wear gloves for the service. We also have disposable mascara wands. We have iPads. We have cotton rounds, 2x2s, 4x4s. I've got an applicator, disposable applicator. I've got wooden stick Q-tips, water, makeup remover. This is the protective barrier cream, something like a Vaseline. And then we have color corrector and color cream, and then developer right here. So we're going to figure out what shade range she wants before, of course, we mix that up. We would choose that, but at least you can see that it's there on my tray. So what we're going to do now is meet with the client, and then we'll find that out, and we can then come back and prepare. But at least everything else is ready to go, and all we'll have to do when our client is ready is to mix the actual color or tone that she's looking for. So let's talk about the client consultation. We're going to greet our client and escort him or her to the work area. We're going to determine the client's preferences and assess the client's needs. We will assess the client's skin by performing a skin analysis to ensure that there is no inflamed, infected, broken, raised, or swollen skin in the area to be worked on, or an open wound or sore in the area to be worked on, infection or infestation such as lice, to prevent from safely performing the service. We're going to assess the client's consultation form for any medications and products used within the last 72 hours, and we're going to consult on any known allergies. We are going to assess if the client is prone to cold sores or fever blisters. We'll assess if the client has used exfoliating or lightening agents within the last 72 hours, like alpha hydroxy acids, beta hydroxy acids, hydroquinone, etc. We will assess facial injections within the last 3 weeks, like Botox or hyaluronic fillers. And if the client is free from the above contraindications, the student can move forward with the procedure. So our girl is fine. We're going to be able to move forward. But what we want to do is make sure that we get them comfortable before we proceed. So we're going to take our client to the facial room in bed. She does not need to disrobe because this is a brow and lash tint. So what we want to do is just make her a little bit more comfortable. So she's going to lay down. We've got our roll towel here that we're going to put under the neck for comfort. Of course, we have our hairnet to keep the hair out of the face, away from the eyebrows and the lashes. And then we have a towel here that we are going to cover up her skin with. So we would cover up her clothes or skin or anything that could be exposed to the tint. We don't want anything to be harmful. It's a towel for me. And before we perform the service, she has let us know that she would wants to do black for her brows and lashes. So she's going to go for a bolder color. So what I'm going to do right now is going to go ahead and mix that up. But before I can do anything at all, I have to wash my hands. So I would go to the sink at this point, wet my hands, find that liquid hand soap, and wash my hands together down to the wrist. Then I'm going to wash the back of my hands down to the wrist. I'm going to wash my fingers. I'm going to wash the backs of my fingers. I'm going to wash between my fingers and my thumbs, fingertips and nails, thumbs, wrists. And I'm going to do all of that interlocking cleansing for a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds. Then I'm going to do a thorough proper rinse under the water. Once everything is rinsed, I'm going to get either a clean towel or disposable paper towels to turn the water off, dry my hands off, throw the paper towels away, get my ethyl alcohol 70% hand sanitizer, and I'm going to sanitize. And at this point, you do want to make sure your hands are good and dry because it'll be time for disposable gloves. And I'm going to go ahead and put the makeup remover pads on her eyes while I'm mixing her shade. So I'm going to take some makeup remover with cotton rounds. And lay them on either eye. And then I'm going to go ahead and mix. And you would follow manufacturer's directions, of course. So for this, we're going to say that we need 3/4 of an inch of the color cream to 2 to 4 drops of the developer. So we have our color cream, and then here's our developer. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to mix it. And while it's mixing, while it's sitting here, it's going to activate and get to the shade that we want it to be while I'm removing her eye makeup and any makeup that might be on her brow area as well. I'm going to let that sit there and develop. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to remove the makeup that is on her eyebrow first. Makeup remover. So I'm going to brace, and then I'm going to work in the direction of the hair growth, removing anything that might be on her eyebrow, like eyeshadow, eye pencil, oil, eye cream, SPF, anything like that. And then I'm going to also work my way, as you can see, against the hair growth direction, just to get it really nice and clean, because we want it to be awesome, fresh and clean when we put the tint on there. Once again, I'm going to go back in the opposite direction. And then I'm going to take off the eye makeup. So sometimes it requires more than one go round of this. You just see what your client needs. Sometimes they come in with more makeup, sometimes they come in with less. And all I'm going to do is just dry the area to make sure before I put on, I'm going to put that protective barrier cream on, so I just want to make sure everything's nice and dry. So the first area I'm going to do is up underneath the eyelashes, where I'm going to put that eye pad. It'll help that disposable eye pad adhere. Now normally I would be getting a brand new wooden stick Q-tip for every single time I apply. I'm never going to double dip. But for conservation, for this video, and not a real person, I'm going to use this same Q-tip to apply her protective barrier cream. Let me repeat that. Once again, I would never use this stick here. It's disposable. It's a single-use item. I put it in once, I toss it in the trash. But because I am making a video, it is not a real person, and I'm conserving my Q-tips, I am using it more than once. And I'm even going to ask and clarify if I'm allowed to do that, as long as I am clear about that with my instructor on the videos, just trying to be like eco-friendly and also budget-friendly. I'm going to ask her if it's okay if I'm reusing that, if I'm clarifying why I'm reusing it, that I would never double dip. And then I'm going to, we've already mapped out the brow, but I'm also going to put this barrier cream around the brow underneath the hair, and then I'm going to put it above it too. So I'm just protecting the skin around the eyebrow, of course. And we're going to make sure everything's out of the client's eye, nose, and mouth. We would never put anything in the client's eyes, nose, and mouth. Let me reiterate again for the millionth time. I would never double dip this wooden Q-tip into my barrier cream. I am just doing that for the sake of conservation, not only for my wooden stick Q-tip here, but also for my budget, because this is not a real person and I am at home making my videos. So I have applied the barrier cream. Now I'm going to go ahead and toss this guy. I've applied the barrier cream to all the locations that it's supposed to be. So the next thing that I need to do is put on my disposable eye pads. And I'm going underneath the lower lashes because we are going to tint the lower lashes as well. So she is ready for her lash tint. So something to note that's extremely important is that you want to apply the tint to the lower lashes before the upper lashes, both sides, because once the client closes their eyes, they will not be able to open them again. So you never want to do a lower lash, have her close her eyes, because she's never going to be able to open them again. So Sue, I'm going to have you look up and I'm going to do both sides. And then you can stay closed for the rest of the service like you are now. So I'm going to apply my color cream to the lower lashes. So I'm going to have you look up real quickly, and here we go. One side. Still look up for me real quick. I'm going to do the other side. And you can close. So now her lower lashes have their tint on them. And I'm going to have her keep her eyes closed, and I'm going to work on the top lashes. So I'm going to get some more tint out of here. And I'm just applying my tint with that mascara wand that's disposable. I'm going to get under and on top with these really good, especially because she's going for that black. I know that she wants a good, nice, deep, dark, bold shade. And then I'm going to get some more tint, and I'm going to go to the other eye. So we're working on the top lashes because we've already done the bottom. And then I'm going to make sure I get a little bit on that underneath bit too, like I did on the other side. of course you would be following manufacturer's directions for each phase. With the lashes, this particular tint we're going to say would stay on for 10 minutes. But for sake of the video, we are not going to sit here for 10 minutes, and we're just basically going through the motions anyway. So we'll pretend that she's had her lash tint on for a good 10 minutes. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in dry first, and I'm going to remove, and then I'll take off the pad and then go in wet and remove. So what I've got here is a cotton round dry, and I'm going to go right here and I'm going to do a nice press dry, very gentle, and I mean gentle, and I am being gentle with the lashes, and I'm pressing towards that eye pad, which I'm going to toss anyway. I'm not going to be getting anything into the eye area, of course. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove the eye pad, getting a new cotton round for a damp one, wet one. Water's right there, and then I'm going to go back and gently finish that remove. Super gentle. Avoiding just really, I'm on the lashes. And one thing that you may realize is that this may take, I'm going to get another one, see, nice and clean, 2 to 3 times, depending on the client, the lashes, the tint. Just be gentle and take your time. And especially, you're working around that eye area, so we're always super delicate when we're doing that. Going in with a dry cotton round first, gentle. I'm going to slide that cotton, that iPad that's disposable off, and then I'm going to go in with a nice wet one. I'm just being really gentle and delicate. Finding a wet one. And she looks awesome. And I've got just a got a totally clean disposable wand here that I'm just going to comb through her lashes. They look really great. She's going to love it. She's going to be impressed. She's going to love the color, and she's going to love the look. It's going to save time with mascara, etc. Awesome. And so now we're going to move forward to the brow. We have our protective barrier cream on, so now it's time to apply that brow tint. And I'm actually going to use a brush to do that. So I've got my tint and I've got my brush. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to apply the tint in the direction of the hair growth. And I'm going to be generous with my tint staying on that brow hair because my girl wanted black, and she does have some stubborn lighter hairs in her brow, so I want to make sure I really coat the brow hair with the tint. And then I'm going to go in the opposite direction of the hair growth as well. then to the other side. Direction of the hair growth to start. And opposite direction. Just going back, I see a little area I want to add a little bit more where she's got some stubborn grays. I know all about those. And once again, we would follow manufacturer's instructions and recommendations on how long you would leave the brow tint on. And the brow tint here, they suggest 3 minutes. So we are obviously not going to sit here for 3 minutes. So for the sake of the video, we're going to progress, and we're going to say that a 3-minute time frame has elapsed and it's time to remove the brow tint. So I'm going to go in dry first, being very careful to avoid the eye area. And I'm going in the direction of the hair growth. Going the opposite direction of the hair growth. Same thing, other side, dry one. Avoiding the eye area, very delicate, gentle. And I'm actually going to get a wet one. You know how they were talking about doing double passes and triple passes, like I was saying earlier, about how many times you need to go back. I'm going to do that on the brows. I just want to make sure I get a real thorough clean here, removing all that tint. And then we'll dry everything off. Looks great. She's going to be super happy. Super happy. So I would present this to her with a mirror. She's going to love it. And then what we need to do now is talk about how we complete this service. So your gloves are disposable. You're going to want to remove those and toss them in the trash. Your client does not have to change, or she didn't disrobe for this service. So in just a second here, when I get my gloves off, over what we do to finish. So those are going in the trash. So you're going to just take her extra drape off. You can take her headband off, and then allow her to kind of get up, get her things, and then you're going to take your client out so that you can then do your close procedure, which you're obviously going to go over maintenance and aftercare. This is a service that she loves and she wants to do on a regular basis because she struggles with silver in her brows and lashes. So we're going to go ahead and get her booked for those X amount of weeks until she wants to come back. We are going to then get her on her way, and we have to prepare for our next client. So let's talk about what we need to do to clean up. So when you get back to your station, you're going to discard any of these single-use items in the trash that you haven't already done, and then you're going to get any dirty implements and you're going to put them in a closed container that's labeled to be disinfected. All of your towels, your sheets, your linens, you're going to put that in a closed container until it's time to do the laundry. And then you're going to identify a cleanser, a proper cleaning agent, that should be the vocabulary, a proper cleaning agent, and then you're going to read and follow the manufacturer's directions with that cleaning agent for mixing and usage. You will wipe down your workstation with that cleaning solution to remove any debris. Then you're going to identify a disinfectant that is bactericidal, virucidal, fungicidal, EPA approved for use in a salon setting. You will need to find a new pair of disposable gloves. You're going to put your gloves on in order to follow those manufacturers' directions for mixing, and or you can use the appropriate aerosol disinfectant. You will disinfect any electrical equipment, store it in a clean area separate from other implements, and then in order to finalize, you have to wash your hands. So you're going to go to that sink and wet your hands. You're going to get your liquid hand soap and you're going to wash your hands down to your wrist. You're going to wash the back of your hands down to your wrist. You're going to wash your fingers and you're going to wash the back of your fingers. You're going to wash between your fingers and your thumb. You're going to wash your fingertips and your nails. You are going to wash your thumbs. You're going to wash your wrists, and you're going to do all of that thorough, proper wash for a good 20 to 30 seconds. When you feel like you're clean, you'll rinse underneath the sink thoroughly, and then get either some disposable paper towels or a clean towel to turn the faucet off. Dry the hands thoroughly. If it's paper towels, they go in the trash. If it is a clean towel, it's now dirty, and it goes in that closed container with other soiled linen until you laundry it. And then you're going to find your 70% ethyl alcohol hand sanitizer, and you're going to sanitize those hands up. And then you are going to be ready to go, moving forward to get ready for your next client. So you're going to prepare your space and station for that. And so this concludes your video for brow and lash tint.